Time is now. It's back to the rhymes. It's like, wow, he's back to the rhymes. I'm in the booth straight dropping dimes. Clark Kent daily plan the Metropolis Times. I write these raps while I'm under the gun. I see you back to get you some. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Pure, raw, uncut rap. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to unwind because it's back to the rhymes. I'm time to wind because it is back to the rhymes. I didn't have myself positioned right. Fix it. Uh, Number one. Now I got some good news in this area. I will say I had, yeah, basically, we got the week that's made kind of saved my year as far as revenue. So I had Travis over there, Access Medical Equipment, hooked it up. Thank you, Travis. Got one of these. And John, if he had the cash, he would have got one of these yesterday. And I'll get to what else he would have got. And I think I should probably he's on vacation this week. So I think tomorrow he'll be able to pick up the merch. So that's great. And then we put all that together. Plus, let me get to the merch and then I'll give you an update on that. My Reformation music video is at about 85 views after 70 times. Got about another month left of the sharing drive for this. And I think on track to probably get about 120 views out of it. Now, I have other videos that have more than that, but it's kind of similar. But keep in mind that a lot of those get their views after the 100 shares. Like, I'll still get a few here and there views even now. And I'm talking about Better Bread or Battle Hymn of the Parents. I also have one Back to the Rhymes, kind of the generic. Maybe it's my first episode. I have two that are just strictly say that. Maybe I can edit those. I should do that. That's going to take some work, but I can put in the actual episode. And when I was just getting started on this, I didn't know what to do, and I got caught off guard. And so it happened a couple of times. So maybe I can fix that at some point. Anyhow, that's the latest with that. And I did send that to my friend who helped record the video, and Yas didn't hear back. What's up with that, man? Oh, well, I'm glad I at least sent it to him. I think he's out in Federal Way delivering mail. Maybe he's just totally on to a whole new life at this point. You'll be glorified. So my plan is this week to try to connect with Tylene, maybe even Dolly. I did try to get a hold of my cousin. I want to lift my whole family over there. My aunt, my uncle passed away on last Sunday, so not really the time he's probably thinking about this, but it is spiritual in nature. So, and interestingly enough, it was my dad's memorial service where it was suggested that I start writing worship songs, and I had thought about it before for sure, but it was that encouragement that kind of got me going. So anyhow, maybe something like this could, if he has published before, he said, so maybe can inspire him to continue on doing some of that. So I don't know if I'll hear back, but I will see this Thursday, the 10th, and I will see. I just see my daughter's piano teacher. I just need to say hi, and I don't know. I just wanted her to get her lessons going again, and now I'll be vocal. And talk. Actually, I hadn't thought of this. Okay, I need to have the conversation with her voice teacher about her singing this song and make that something that maybe start that conversation. So my daughter sings a song, you help her learn how to sing, we get the song, all that. So I didn't think of that just now. So I think that'd be a good strategy. because her teacher at school mentioned that, but I haven't seen her since. So, and she's not super easy for me to track down. As far as so Tylene, so they have a rehearsal on Thursday, so we'll just see if they'll. I was invited as a non-musician, so we'll see if it's all good there. Going back to my Reformation music video. So I shared it with some guys out there. They're in Federal Way, as a matter of fact. And I'll just say that it's kind of hard to hear that kind of stuff. I mean, you could say it's constructive criticism, but in the end of the day, it's criticism. And in a way, it's not constructive because I don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's an opinion too. In my view, they're light years ahead of me, probably in budget, maybe whatever time you would have put into creating media and whatnot. So, but the message was along the lines of, it's not professional, but good energy, good message. Just got to improve something. I asked I asked the question, what would you do? Or what kind of things did you do to improve? But it's just, obviously these guys are younger than me. I'm an older dude, and I only got so much more time. I'm 50. I'm not in school. I can talk more about how to turn that around money-wise, but it's just not, I wouldn't say it's really empowering. Not that they shouldn't tell me that. It's just, again, something about it's insular to me. It's not inclusive. It's not inviting. Now, I understand we all have 24 hours a day, billions of people in the world, and if they got a lot of people bugging them to do stuff, I get it, or they just if they take their eye off the ball, then their projects don't get done, and maybe I'm a hindrance. It's fine. All that's fine. Because obviously, some people are busier than others. Others are trying to grab people's attention and slow them down. Like, hey, can you give me a buck back? That slows. So I get all that. We don't want to be a burden to somebody. Not trying to be a burden, but I thought about going back and technically, I always go with this. Technically speaking, flow and like delivery and intensity and probably sharpness, and maybe there's a lot of practice in there. Yes, it's a higher level, especially when you start talking about double time rap or whatever. And I just not even, first of all, as a listener, not a big fan. When you start talking, when you rap really fast, it doesn't, I don't hear that. I don't hear very fast rap as impressive. So again, I don't know exactly what they're getting at with it, but and I could go back to their lyrics. I haven't done it. I might or might not do it and just break it down. Are your lyrics legitimately better than my lyrics? Because I can make that judgment. I can look at the lyrics and I can decide, okay, because I haven't done that. And especially when someone's rapping real fast, I don't even know what they're saying most of the time. And I got to sit there and try to figure that out. I don't know. So if we're judging it based on that, I don't know if the lyrics are better. If you're judging it based on how good the video is, well, sure, man, I'm a total amateur here. And you guys got, who knows if they went to Art Institute of Seattle, if that's even around, I don't know. That kind of thing. We were talking to another dude. He's in LA and he's son of someone. I just talked to his dad today. And, you're just not at a level, and that's all good. But what the sense is like, you're not at my level and you're kind of wasting my time right now. And that, to me, in a secular environment, that's fine. But in a Christian environment, I don't see how that doesn't pass the eye test to me. That doesn't make sense to me, you know. So again, if someone's busy or busy, but we can always have conversations, you know. And maybe, you know, I don't know. Everyone's got different objectives too. That's why I really appreciate seeing Tylene, for one. On some level, I mean, she's light years ahead of me because she can play all these instruments. But maybe I've written more songs, but there's a mutual valuing of each other's skills. Nobody's better than the other. Nobody's critiquing, and you know, and she might not even have time, but still the spirit's right. That's what I'll say. It's not insular. It's not that, you know. So anyway, I had to share that because it comes up time and time again, you know, and I could talk further down. It happens in this environment too. You put yourself out there, that can happen, you know, but I always, you know, where do you, and again, I kind of don't want to get asked too many questions because it's subjective, you know. I mean, I suppose they're making income from the business, and I should be wanting to learn from that. But do they even want to share? You know, how I had the worship leader, and so that's the thing. Keep on working at it. You know, and the other dude, worship leader, he said, because we're talking about this, you know, keep sending me stuff. I can do it. It's like, that's not a target. We didn't talk. That's not, I can't sink my teeth into that. That's so general, generic. I can't wrap my arms around it because I don't really know what you're saying. And that's the thing about art. What's the target, you know? So anyway, I just wanted to share it. It's bugs me some, and I don't want it to bug me. And I'll get over it. Believe me, I've had other things bug me, and time heals that. But it's like one of those things where I'm like, do your thing, you know, and I'll just be doing mine. So again, why not work together? But it's fine. That's how you roll. It's just, okay, I'll say it this way. It's like an elitism, the same way in a seminary kind of deal where you get competitive and who's smarter than the other, who knows scripture. It just, I guess, antithetical to what God's about and what he wants for his people. That's what I just want to say. It's just not Christ-like. And who am I to tell you that? Hopefully someone can figure that out, you know? So anyhow, YouTube channel, Mike Dynamic, hashtag. So I did meet with Daryl. And so I'm going to see him in 3 weeks. And he followed me. I'm following him on Instagram. We're all good there. He's got a lot. He puts out content. He's got a lot of people following him. So and he's willing to, he's not saying anything about who's good, bad. It's not like that. You know, we try to help each other. So, yeah, like today I did the Instagram and I screwed up. And if my daughter helped me, I bet you she was upstairs. She probably could have fixed it, or we'd have tried again. What I need to do is practice it, or have her help me, or have her show me. I didn't want to sit there and spend a bunch of time figuring out how to redo it. I don't know how to redo it. So that's that. I got it done. Not as smooth. So like, I got a report though. So my rhyme of the week for last week got 5 likes. Cool. You know, I had no idea how people even see this. The one before got 0, except the warm up got 1. I still don't know how I can see how many people have seen it. I don't know if it records that kind of thing. And I talked to Leon about the next project, and so he said it's going to be too much even to do a resource guide. So, you know, what we had talked about, and he's just going to focus on a portion of, I think, First Thessalonians, where the rapture concept comes out of, and Did he say 10 minutes? That's pretty short, huh? I guess it could be 10 minutes. It's up to him. However much time he thinks he needs to break it down. I don't want to take away anything what he told me for a preview, but just to put it all in perspective and context, not in this, compartmentalized. What happens is it's totally detached. And I've talked about it. He talks about it. It's detached from the history, the roots, this rapture concept. It's not a new concept, turns out. It's just been recreated in a last couple 100 years version that's totally separate from what was the intent. And so he's going to explain that. So I got about a month till that happens. Rules of engagement, nothing to talk about there. Bellevue Ballers. So that's what I was going to say. That's different, but still. Nah, I'm not even going to talk about that. But then if you talk about wanting to be more professional, what am I supposed to do? I can't stop working on this. I can't stop doing all the other things I do. This has to get done. I've seen that Jason Aldean, with Carrie Underwood video with that studio, and there's some of the music videos have their studio, and you're like, man, that's worth shooting for. What kind of budget does it? It just looks so cool. It just looks cool. I guess it works and does good things, right? That's why I thought about, I imagine you'd consider Jason Aldean professional. I mean, this sound, I like the way he's making his songs. I heard his earlier songs. I don't really like them, but the sound he's come up with over the last however many years since I started listening to more country, I really like. And, it's not exactly sounds the same. It's a style that sounds similar, but man, a lot of those songs are good. All right. So for the merch, on the merch front, this was the big win. So I did get to see my man Aaron, Too Sick. Got that, which is Too Sick. Oh, yeah, I guess I can talk about that. I'll come back to that now. So he saw the video. The next video, he's saying we got to have and I think I've talked about this before. He wants to have Mike Dynamic in the with graffiti. And I said, well, we can do. Well, I'll have to come back to it then. Yeah, it's here. Back to the Rhymes is my next song, which is 9. But video-wise, this is close to done, right? Once I finish sharing it 100 times, I got nothing left. So I can probably, I'm not going to say for sure, but that can probably go right in there because we talked about it. He just, we're talking about what should the piece say, but, Mike Dynamic or something. So that song, that's what I was saying. And I thought, how far along are we to have music for that? Let me come back to that. But Aaron picked up a shirt. Thank you for that. Like I said, John's going to be picking up a shirt and a CD. So you're looking at over half my revenue for I can't say that. But I think I'm going to get over the 100 mark here. And here we are towards the end of October. Like I say, things happen in waves. Part of it is just because I'm too custodial now. I've had time to catch up these good people. And so that's why that's happening, I would say. But yeah, just showing up to Wallingford Station, where I got to say, that's where the most money I've made for sure has happened in that station when I had Dale as my music promoter. That's what really got a lot of the sales going. And then I show up with a box of shirts, and there Aaron's buying one. Oh, now we got John, who of course knows what? He knows the theme song, man. He's rapping the theme song in the station. It was kind of empty, but maybe someone heard it. Aaron heard it. That was cool. That was good stuff, John. So anyhow, that's cool. So that's a big help. And what was I thinking the next thing to do with my money? I think I need for $60, come back and do this, Trump's going to thump and copyright the actual video, which is about $60. So I've got the money to do that. The other thing is I can go and buy some more shirts. I should continue to fund that. I kind of want to change how at least the size of it, or do the little. Maybe I'd give people an option if I had a little thing right here, Goodyear Productions. You know, I don't know if the shirt has that. Is there a print on the back usually? I don't know. I have to consider that. That's because this thing's a big old thing. Then you can have a little one. You get the sense it would be like a concert shirt with all the tour dates and stuff, and then have that little thing up front. I don't know. I have to look at it. I got to talk to Richard, that fellow who's willing to help me. He can help me. He's willing to help me. So there's a good guy. He's willing to help me. I just need to do what I got to do. I did look at that the other day. What was I supposed to do? I was supposed to go on the Department of Revenue website and do something. And where did I find that? Oh, where did I put it? I can always call them again. They're good people. So that's that. Complete songs I made lyrics for on YouTube. So again, that would be Back to the Rhymes. I'll work on a music video for that. That would be that plan. So that's the plan. That took some time. Current events, elections coming up. Talked to a guy for a couple hours yesterday at Starbucks. He had a lot of interesting things to say. He doesn't want to connect. He doesn't want to be a Bellevue baller, apparently. He doesn't want to teach people what he knows. He just wants to know what's going on for himself and keep it. But he'd share it at Starbucks if you happen to, anyway, whatever. And he went to school right down the street from me, right here. He thinks a red wave's coming. I hope so. He thought that was possible for 50 straight years because of the policies of the Democrats. And the reason I say I wish it was the case, but the reason I say it probably wouldn't happen is what happens is Republicans run on a platform, they win big because the Democrats are they're horrible. So you want the Republicans to come in and be more or less the opposite, and they run on one thing and they govern entirely differently. And it happens over and over and over because they're not really Republicans, they're rhinos. That's not always the thing. It's easy to forget, but I remembered that. It's like, yeah, that's right. That's why they don't. If they were to govern the way they campaign, they would win 50 straight years because people be so happy with the results. But they get so turned off and they just can't turn out the vote when they got deceived for the millionth time. This fellow was talking about when you have one party in power, like you do in, say, China and Russia, with that stability, and you have a unified country. Now, of course, you might not agree with some of the philosophies of these other countries, but it's also for business and things like so. There's two schools of one. You got this dependable, like he was talking about in China. They're not interested in regime change, in nation building, like America has gotten involved in that, right? They're interested in doing business with anybody and everybody, and they'll do business with anybody and everybody. They're not interested in changing your president or any of that kind of stuff. Thought that was interesting. Whereas we're kind of, and he was talking about the whole Ukraine, and we kind of instigated that and blew up the pipeline to Europe. And anyway, this dude knows a lot of stuff. Very interesting conversation. In the end, we'll see. This election's coming up, but gotta have anyway. So Hillary lost because they didn't turn out the vote because they thought she'd win, but then Biden won because they didn't want to take a chance. They knew they needed to turn out the vote this time. That was his thought. I don't know. I just don't see huge crowds turning out for Biden. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, stealing an election makes sense and stopping the counting makes sense, but not him winning. That doesn't make sense. I think there's in Seattle, they're voting on, I haven't done all the reading. I've seen a few flyers for either loosening up the voting or tightening it up, and we'll just see. That'll be an interesting thing to watch. I got to check it out. But I think the flyer for the tightening up the voting is well done, very well done. So hopefully people catch that message. They don't want this open-ended voting, and they just drew out the cost difference too. So I assume that's accurate. So I'll just stop with that. So for my song, I'm going to do something I haven't done. I don't think anyone's done that I'm aware of. And by the way, I did show this on my thumbnail, I better say. So Venters and Minds rhyme. I might just go over, I'm going to go over. So, SoundCloud. I don't have it up here. I could put the Trump's Gonna Thump on it. So here's the thing about SoundCloud. People who really like music listen to SoundCloud. They're not there. Like, there's a lot of people that get content from YouTube, Instagram, whatever, right? Because they're just checking out. But if you're on SoundCloud, you like music. That's what I think. So I got a second huge fan in Tunisia, man. I mean, he's checking it out. He's got, and the reason I thought about this, and I saw this. So the end of my 21st Century Enter, he listened to that like 9 times in 2 days, or something like that. Or that song's up to 9 listens. It didn't have any really. So he's been checking it out. It's his favorite song apparently that I have. He hadn't listened to them all, but that's cool, you know. I don't know, and if somebody is putting it on repeat for YouTube, I can't tell, you know. But this thing shows. All right, now if you buy the deluxe package, you'll see the whole list of who's listening to your stuff. You know, I think all the people on SoundCloud have a profile, so it's not anonymous. Where that's how it is more on YouTube, which is cool. You can connect with people. So let me see if I can do this real quick. I wrote it in pencil, and then Venter. So that was my stepbrother. He took his life, basically, jumped off the I-5 bridge down to Ivers. That ended his life. It was devastating, totally devastating. I talk about in that song a little at the end. But here, this is, so I wrote the first 5 lines, and then he found it and he added to it. So I'm not going to get to my song anymore. Let me see if I can do this. So I'll wait. So I waited. Cool. I got nothing to prove. Shoot. So I get to the point. Before I use my weapon not to kill, but that's not the intent. Yeah, so shoot. Maybe I'm gonna have to really look at this and rewrite it. Okay, so then I say, not to kill. That's not my intent. And then he comes in with his lyric. Listen to me, or your life will be spent. I'm to teach, not to preach. So open your ears, because we ruled for years. Do you hear the bass? Not the kind you put in your face. I'm lyrically potent and proud. Since look at the way I'm moving the crowd. Since I'm hype as a fiend, I don't need caffeine. So there we go. That's you know, crossing it out and all this stuff. I mean, obviously, coming up with rhymes is, everyone's got a different skill set. Would I say, oh, Venter, I'm sorry. Keep working at it, man. You'll get better. But that's my stepbrother. But honest to God, I wouldn't encourage anybody. I'd take the time. How long does it take? But and I want to show it to his mom. She's in a kind of assisted living home. I don't know that I could give it to her. I could give it to my stepbrother. I don't want. I want to keep the original, but at least a copy or something. So I find it, then I lose it. Then I find it. It's in my stash of music stuff. But anyway, let me share with you what my plan is for the rest of the song. Master Muzzle bass song. I'm not gonna write new lyrics, and I'm gonna reverse it. And so you'll see next week when I get back to the rhymes what I'm talking about. But basically, whatever the last line is, that's the next line. And then the second to last line, that's the next line, like that. And we're just going to see how it sounds. for one, it'll give me more content, so it'll take up more time. It'll give me something. But I don't know if anyone ever doing it. Can't Trust It, Public Enemy. They took the first verse and made it the third verse. I could think of someone repeating it that way with Public Enemy, but I can't think of anyone doing what I'm talking about. Catch you next time. Back to the rhymes.